Imagine finding a penny that could change your life forever. A coin so rare that it could be worth more than a luxury home, more than your retirement savings, and maybe even more than your wildest dreams. You might be holding one right now without even knowing it. A 1967 no mint mark Lincoln penny, quietly sitting in a drawer, worth up to $933,000 in today's collector market. Sounds unbelievable, right? Well, stay with me, because by the end of this video, you'll understand exactly why this humble 1-cent coin is commanding staggering prices, how to identify the real deal, and how you could turn a simple penny into a life-changing fortune. Let's dive into this incredible story. Picture this. It's the late 1960s. The United States is buzzing with change. The Vietnam War is on the evening news. Elvis is still king, and the U.S. Mint is churning out billions of Lincoln cents. Nothing extraordinary seems to be happening in the world of pocket change. But hidden among those billions was a secret, a penny that would one day make history. The 1967 Lincoln penny might look completely ordinary at first glance. It's the same familiar design, Abraham Lincoln's solemn profile on the front, the Lincoln Memorial on the back. No mint mark under the date. Just a simple coin, right? But here's where things get fascinating. In 1967, the U.S. Mint made a drastic decision. To ease the tension caused by coin shortages in previous years and to discourage coin hoarding, the Mint stopped using mint marks entirely. That means every coin made that year, whether from Philadelphia, Denver, or San Francisco, bore no identifying mint mark. So technically, every 1967 penny has no mint mark. But among them, a few remarkable varieties were struck differently: errors, anomalies, and high-grade survivors that would later set the collector's world on fire. Now, before we get to the million-dollar penny, let's address the elephant in the room. You might be thinking, wait, a penny worth almost $1 million? Isn't that just hype? Fair question. But when it comes to coin collecting, rarity, condition, and history can turn everyday change into pure treasure. Act 2, the mystery and the money. Here's where the real thrill begins. Collectors discovered that some 1967 Lincoln pennies were struck with extraordinary precision, mirror-like surfaces, razor-sharp details, the kind of perfection you almost never see in circulation coins. These were special proof-like strikes, often meant for collector sets, but somehow, a few of them made their way into the public's hands. And then there were the errors, coins with double dies, off-center strikes, or unusual copper compositions. These errors weren't supposed to exist, yet a few slipped through the cracks. And each time one is found, its value skyrockets. Now, imagine you stumble across one of these near-perfect 1967 pennies in your old coin jar. You take it to be appraised, and the expert gasps. Under magnification, they see details so crisp, so flawless, that it's practically a time capsule from 1967. The grade: a perfect mint state, 67 or higher. The price: over $900,000. Yes, 93,000,000 for a single penny. Why so high? Because when collectors compete for the best of the best, the market explodes. Only a handful of such specimens exist, certified by top grading companies like PCGs or NGC. They represent the absolute pinnacle of rarity and condition, and in the world of coins, that's where fortunes are made. Now, here's something most people don't realize. You could have one sitting at home right now. Many Americans in the 1960s saved rolls of pennies, thinking they'd never be worth much. Decades later, those forgotten rolls are being opened, and surprise, some contain these ultra-valuable specimens. Here's a quick test. Grab your 1967 penny and look closely under good lighting. Does the surface gleam like a mirror? Are Lincoln's hairlines sharp and distinct? Is there zero wear on the high points of his cheek and jaw? If yes, you could be holding a high-grade example worth hundreds or even thousands. But here's the twist. The real fortune lies not just in beauty, but in rarity. The coin grading scale ranges from 1 to 70. A penny-graded mint state, 6.5, might fetch $50 to $200, but push that grade to mint state 67, and suddenly the price jumps to tens of thousands. And for that, 1 in a million specimen graded M68 or higher. That's where we hit that jaw-dropping $933,000. Now, you might be wondering, why the urgency? Because each year, more of these coins are discovered, graded, and sold. As the population reports increase, values can fluctuate. Today's fortune could be tomorrow's missed opportunity. Let's pause for a moment. Think about this. How many times have you walked past a penny on the ground and ignored it? How many jars of old coins have you seen collecting dust in basements and attics? We live in a time where everyone's chasing digital wealth. Yet true treasure could be sitting in your hands right now, tangible, historical, and priceless. This isn't just about a coin. It's about awareness, about the overlooked opportunities right under our noses. Because the truth is, stories like this are not rare in the world of numismatics, the study and collection of coins. Ordinary people have turned forgotten change into life-changing money. Take, for instance, the man who found a rare 1943 copper penny in his lunchroom change. He sold it for over $1 million. Or the woman who discovered a minting error on a 1972 Lincoln cent and sold it for thousands. Every one of them started with curiosity, the courage to look closer. Now, before you rush to cash in every penny you own, let's talk strategy. Step 1. Gather your coins. Check the dates carefully. Look for 1967 pennies with sharp detail and no wear. Step 2. Inspect for errors. Use a magnifying glass or jeweler's loupe. Look for doubled lettering, off-center designs, or unusual color. Step 3. If you find one that looks promising, get it authenticated by a professional grading service. But here's the secret most people miss. Presentation matters. A graded, encapsulated coin is trusted by collectors worldwide. It protects your investment and ensures maximum value when selling. And when it comes to selling, patience pays. The rare coin market is booming, fueled by investors seeking tangible assets amid economic uncertainty. A high-grade 1967 no mint mark penny today could be worth even more tomorrow as rarity and demand continue to rise. Think about that. A penny that once bought a stick of gum could one day buy you a house. And if you're thinking, that's crazy, remember, every fortune starts with something small. The people who live wealthy lifestyles aren't just lucky. They're aware, informed, and ready to act when opportunity knocks. Here's a little humor to lighten things up the next time someone tells you they're not interested in pennies. Just smile and say, "That's fine. I'll take yours," because who knows? You might just be collecting your first million. Let's be honest, it's easy to dismiss the idea that a coin could change your life. But if you've stayed with me this far, it means you understand the deeper message. This isn't only about rare pennies. It's about the power of awareness, the magic of curiosity, and the reality that wealth often hides in plain sight. So here's your cliffhanger. What if there are still undiscovered varieties of the 1967 penny worth even more than $933,000? Experts believe some experimental strikes and transitional errors might still be out there, unreported, waiting to be found. Could one of them be in your home? That's the mystery that keeps collectors awake at night. Before we wrap up, let's bring this home. The 1967 no mint mark Lincoln penny isn't just a coin. It's a symbol of possibility, of history, and of how small things can carry enormous value when looked at with the right perspective. So tonight, open that old coin jar. Dig through those boxes in the attic. Check your childhood collections. Because one day soon, someone's going to find the next record-breaking penny, and there's no reason it can't be you. The clock is ticking. Opportunities like this don't last forever. Every day, collectors and investors are snapping up rare coins, driving prices higher. Don't wait until your fortune slips through someone else's fingers. Take action. Get curious. Start looking. Because sometimes the path to wealth isn't found in the stock market or in Silicon Valley. It's hiding right there in your pocket change. And if that doesn't make you look twice at your next penny, I don't know what will. Stay inspired, stay alert, and never underestimate the power of a single cent. Your fortune might just begin with the sound of a penny hitting the table. In 1971, something extraordinary happened inside the U.S. Minton event, so small, yet so powerful, it would ripple through history and turn an ordinary 1-cent coin into a potential fortune. Imagine holding a penny in your hand, one that millions of people have overlooked, tossed into jars, or dropped on sidewalks. But that same penny could be worth nearly $1 million today. That's right. The 1971 Lincoln cent, one tiny coin, struck over 50 years ago, now commands attention from collectors, investors, and treasure hunters across America. And in this video, you're going to discover why this simple copper coin could be your ticket to living a wealthy, worry-free life. Let's start with a question that might just change how you look at every penny you own. What if the next coin you pick up from your dresser, your change jar, or your glove box could fund your retirement? Or better yet, what if it could make you a millionaire overnight? Welcome to the world of rare coins, where every detail matters and every mint mark could mean the difference between pocket change and a life-changing discovery. Now, before we dive into why the 1971's penny is so valuable, let's rewind the clock. The year was 1971. The Vietnam War was raging. Disney World had just opened, and gas cost 36 cents a gallon. Americans were dropping pennies into piggy banks, completely unaware that among the billions minted, a few had a secretan imperfection so precise that it would someday become their golden ticket. The Lincoln cent, as we know it, had been around since 1909, designed by Victor David Brenner. It bore the proud face of Abraham Lincoln and the famous wheat ears on the reverse. But by 1959, the design changed to the Lincoln Memorial, and for decades, people didn't think twice about these little copper coins. Then came the 1971's penny, minted in San Francisco. Most of these were standard-proof coins meant for collectors, not circulation, but some, just a few, were struck with a rare doubling on the obverse, the front side. And this doubling wasn't your everyday mint error. It was crisp, bold, and visible even without magnification. The "In God We Trust" and "Liberty" inscriptions showed a distinct doubling effect. For sharp-eyed collectors, this was like finding buried treasure in plain sight. But for everyone else, it was just another penny. Here's where it gets fascinating. These coins were never intended to circulate widely. They were proofs carefully struck with mirror-like finishes. But through decades of exchanges, estate sales, and dusty coin collections, a few slipped into the wild, and that's why, today, these coins can sell for astonishing sums up to $929,000 depending on condition, certification, and collector demand. Let that sink in. A 1-cent coin worth less than a gumball, now valued higher than most homes in America, makes you want to check your coin jar, doesn't it? A man sitting at his kitchen table late one night, sorting through an old box of coins inherited from his grandfather. He picks up a 1971 penny, and something catches his eye. The letters on Liberty look strange, almost doubled. He checks in "God We Trust" and sees the same effect. His heart starts racing. He rushes to grab his magnifier, double-checks, and realizes he might be holding something extraordinary. He sends the coin off to be graded, and weeks later, it comes back certified as a true doubled die proof, one of the rarest known. The estimated auction value? Nearly $1 million. Sounds unbelievable, right? But it's real. These finds happen more often than you might think. And the people who find them aren't professional numismatists, they're ordinary Americans like you. Now here's the catch: these coins aren't valuable just because they're old. Age means little without rarity. What sets the 1971's penny apart is the combination of a specific error, the doubling, and the fact that so few exist in pristine proof condition. Even a small blemish, a tiny scratch, can drastically change the value. That's why collectors pay top dollar for coins certified by trusted grading companies, like PCGs or NGC. And if you're wondering how serious people are about these coins, consider this. One of these rare proof pennies recently sold at auction for $929,000. Yes, for a penny. The kind most people wouldn't even bother to pick up off the ground. Now, before you rush to your coin collection, here's the part where things get interesting and a little tricky. There are thousands of imitation or machine-doubled coins that look similar but are worth next to nothing. Only genuine doubled die-proof coins from the San Francisco Mint of 1971 hold that extraordinary value. So how do you know if yours is real? First, look for the S mint mark just below the date. Then, under magnification, check for clean, distinct doubling on the inscriptions, not a shadow or blur. If it looks too soft or smeared, it's probably mechanical doubling. But if the letters are sharply doubled, almost like a ghost image perfectly aligned, you may be looking at a true treasure. And here's a quick tip. If you find one that looks suspiciously close, never clean it. Cleaning a coin, even gently, can destroy its value faster than you can say $1,000,000 penny. Now, here's where fear and opportunity come into play. Every year, thousands of rare coins are lost forever, melted, damaged, or simply discarded by people who never realized what they had. Each day that passes, more potential treasures vanish into history, and that means the coins that do survive, those tucked away in boxes, drawers, or old collections, become even more valuable. The clock is ticking, and the race is on to find these hidden gems before they disappear forever. Imagine being one of the few who act, who look carefully, who take the time to check every penny. Imagine telling your friends you turned 1 cent into nearly $1,000,000. But there's more to this story than just money. These coins represent a connection to history, to craftsmanship, to an era when even small mistakes could lead to great fortune. Owning one isn't just about wealth, it's about legacy. Now, you might be wondering, what's the market like today? Are collectors still paying these insane prices? Absolutely. In fact, the demand for rare coins has surged in recent years, especially among investors looking for tangible assets. Gold and silver prices fluctuate, but rare coins, they carry a story, a personality, and a sense of exclusivity that no other investment can match. Think of it this way: there are millions of ways to make money, but very few that let you literally find it lying around your house. The rare coin market is a hidden world, but once you're in it, you start seeing every penny as a possibility. So here's your call to action. Find your 1971 Ness pennies. Search your change jars, old wallets, and inherited boxes. Visit local coin shops and estate sales. Look for that distinctive S mint mark and the double die, because one coin could change everything. And if you're thinking, come on, how likely is it that I'll find one? Remember this: someone has to. Every record-breaking sale started with someone who was just curious enough to look. Now, I'll leave you with this. Imagine waking up tomorrow knowing you've just discovered a coin worth more than most people's yearly salary. What would you do? Pay off your home. Retire early. Travel the world. It all starts with curiosity, awareness, and the willingness to look closer. So, before you go, remember every coin tells a story. Some tell the story of America's history. Others tell the story of opportunity, luck, and destiny. The 1971 5 cent. It tells the story of how even the smallest, most overlooked things in life can hold unimaginable value. And maybe, just maybe, the next time you see a penny on the ground, you won't walk past it. You'll pick it up. You'll take a closer look. Because that small act might just be the moment that changes your life. Now, if you're serious about uncovering hidden value in your old coins, subscribe for more deep dives into America's rarest treasures. Turn on those notifications, because in the next video, we'll explore another penny that could be worth even more than this one. Until then, keep searching, keep collecting, and remember the wealth you're looking for might already be in your hands. Today, we're diving deep into one of the most astonishing stories in American coin history. How a 1-cent coin from 1982 became a six-figure fortune. Why collectors are obsessed with it, and how you might be sitting on one yourself without even knowing. By the end of this video, you'll not only know exactly what to look for, but you'll also understand why this coin represents more than just money. It's about timing, luck, and recognizing opportunity when others overlook it. Let's go back to 1982, a year of change for American currency. Gas was cheap, the Walkman was brand new, and the U.S. Mint was making a critical decision to save money. They were changing the metal composition of the penny. For decades, Lincoln cents had been made mostly of copper. But by the early 80s, copper prices skyrocketed. It was literally costing the government more than a cent to make a 1-cent coin. Talk about irony. So the mint switched from copper to a cheaper zinc core coated with copper. That means 1982 is the only year when both copper and zinc pennies were made at the same time. And that's where the story gets interesting and expensive. Here's the twist. During that transition, one rare mistake occurred. At the Denver Mint, marked with that tiny D under the data, few copper planchets. Those blank coin discs accidentally got mixed into the new zinc batch. The result? A handful of 1982D pennies struck in the old copper composition, when they should have been zinc. And these coins, my friend, are now worth more than most luxury cars, entire houses, and in one case, nearly $1 million before you start digging through your couch cushions. Hang tight, because we're about to uncover exactly what makes this coin so rare, how to identify it, and why experts believe there may still be a few out there waiting to be found. But first, let's pause for a second. Isn't it crazy how something as small as a penny could hold the power to change your financial story? Imagine cashing in just 1 cent for a lifetime of financial freedom. It's almost poetic. Fast forward to 2016. A collector named Michael Tremonti made headlines after discovering a 1980 2D penny unlike any other. He suspected it was copper, not zinc. He sent it to be authenticated by a professional grading company when the results came back. They confirmed it, a genuine 1980 2D small date Lincoln cent struck on a copper planchette, a coin that, according to the mint, should not even exist. When the news broke, it sent shockwaves through the coin collecting community. Collectors everywhere began rummaging through their old jars, safe boxes, and dusty drawers. And why not? One of these coins was valued at nearly $1 million. Another sold privately for hundreds of thousands. Think about it. The odds of finding one are microscopic, yet not impossible. And that's the magic of numismatics, the art and science of coin collecting. It rewards those who pay attention, who look closer, who don't dismiss the ordinary. Now, let's talk about the details, because this is where the difference between a penny and a fortune lies. The 1980 2D penny comes in multiple varieties: large date, small date, copper, and zinc. The rare one, the jackpotties, the 1980 2D small date copper Lincoln cent, it should weigh about 3.1 grams, like the more common zinc version that weighs just 2.5 grams. So if you have a 1982 penny with a D mint mark, grab a digital scale. That tiny 0.6 gram difference could mean the difference between pocket change and life change. Here's a quick tip. Copper has a distinctive ring when dropped, while zinc sounds dull and flat. So yes, even the sound of a penny could hint at its hidden value. Now, I can almost hear you thinking, all right, I've got jars full of old pennies. How do I know which ones are worth something? That's exactly where most people miss out. Because while others ignore that little jar, serious collectors and treasure hunters know that the rarest coins often hide in plain sight. Pattern interrupt. Have you ever thought about how ironic it is that we step over pennies on the ground? Yet one of them might be worth more than your entire car. You might want to start bending down again. Now that we've uncovered the history and the discovery, let's talk about what this means for you. Because this isn't just about one coin, it's about perspective. The story of the 1980 2D penny is a reminder that wealth often hides where others see nothing of value. It's about awareness, curiosity, and action. Those who act on information before everyone else are the ones who profit from it. In the coin market today, interest in rare U.S. coins is exploding. Baby boomers are passing down collections. Younger investors are entering the hobby, seeing coins as tangible assets in an unstable economy. And with the 1980 2D copper penny recently valued at $925,000, excitement has reignited among both seasoned collectors and everyday people. But here's the kicker. Experts believe there might still be more undiscovered 1980 2D copper pennies out there. The mint never recorded how many copper planchettes slipped through the system. Could there be one sitting in a bankroll? A jar in your attic? A forgotten box of change from your grandparents? It's possible, and if you do find one, you're not just finding a coin, you're uncovering history. a piece of American transition, an accidental relic from a moment when the mint changed forever. That kind of story adds value far beyond the metal itself. It's narrative wealth, something every serious collector craves. But before you rush to the pawn shop, let's add a word of caution. The coin market, like any investment space, has its share of hype and misinformation. Not every 1982 penny is valuable. Many look similar but are made of zinc. Always verify through weight, appearance, and professional grading services like PCGs or NGC before you make any big moves. Authenticity is everything, and here's where the urgency comes in. As awareness spreads, more collectors are combing through their change. The more coins get found, the rarer and more valuable the remaining few become. The window of opportunity to cash in on this discovery phase won't last forever. Those who act now could secure generational value. Those who hesitate might watch prices climb out of reach. Quick humor break. If you tell your friends you're spending your weekend weighing pennies, they might laugh. But when that funny hobby turns into a six-figure payday, guess who's laughing then? Now, let's connect the dots between coins and lifestyle. Because if you're here, it's not just about collecting nits, about financial freedom, independence, and legacy. You want to live a wealthy lifestyle, not just dream about it. And wealth begins with awareness, seeing what others overlook. The 1982 penny is a metaphor for that mindset. Success often hides in plain sight. Imagine discovering that coin, selling it for nearly $1 million, paying off your home, investing in real estate, or even starting that business you've always wanted. Imagine the peace of mind that comes from knowing your financial breakthrough came from recognizing value others ignored. That's not luck, that's mindset. Cliffhanger moment. What if I told you this isn't the only penny out there? Worth life-changing money? What if there are other coins sitting right now in circulation that could make you a small fortune? Because there are, and we'll explore those in our next video. But before you go, here's your action plan. Step 1. Gather your old coins, especially any 1982 pennies. Step 2. Weigh them. Remember, 3.1 grams means copper potential treasure. Step 3. Verify with professionals if you think you've struck gold, copper. And step 4. Stay informed. Because the more you learn about the market, the better your chances of finding hidden wealth. Don't let the fear of missing out paralyze you, let it motivate you. Because in every era, there's a brief moment when opportunity knocks softly before the world catches on. Right now, that knock sounds like the clink of an old penny in your hand. The 1982 T. Lincoln cent teaches us something powerful, that fortune favors the curious, that even the smallest things, when looked at differently, can change everything. And maybe, just maybe, your ticket to a wealthy lifestyle is already sitting quietly in a jar, waiting for you to notice if this story lit a spark in you. Hit that subscribe button, because we're just getting started. The world of rare coins is full of secrets, untold stories, and opportunities waiting to be discovered. In the next video, we'll uncover another coin currently selling for 6 figures, and this one might be even easier to find. So next time you see a penny, don't walk past it. Pick it up. Look closer. Because wealth doesn't always come from hard work alone. Sometimes it comes from awareness and a little bit of copper. The rarity and the unbelievable value of the 1992D Lincoln cent, better known as the close AM variety. This is the penny that has ordinary Americans checking their pocket change, that's shaken collectors to their core. And that could still be hiding in plain sight, maybe even in your home right now. But before you dismiss it as another collector's myth, stay with me. Because by the end of this story, you'll know exactly why this small, overlooked piece of copper has been valued at up to $919,000, how to identify it yourself, and why time might be running out to cash in on its hidden potential. Back in the early 1990s, nobody paid much attention to pennies. They were the smallest denomination, often tossed into jars or left behind on counters. But in 1992, something remarkable happened at the Denver Mint. A subtle design change, a difference, almost invisible to the naked eye, created one of the most valuable modern coins in U.S. history. 2 varieties of the Lincoln penny were minted that year: the regular wide M and the much rarer close AM. On the reverse side, between the letters A and M in the word America, the spacing tells the story. In the standard design, there's a noticeable gap. But in the close AM variety, those two letters nearly touch, almost kissing each other. A simple, almost imperceptible difference. Yet that tiny mistake has led to astronomical values. Only a handful are known to exist, making it rarer than many gold coins or silver dollars. Now imagine the person who first spotted this oddity. A collector, sitting at a desk, flipping through rolls of old pennies. Hours of searching, eyes strained, mind numb. And then one coin catches his eye. The letters seem closer. Could it be? He checks again. His heart races. The D mint mark is there. It's a 1992D, but something's off. He consults references, peers through magnification, confirms the spacing, and realizes he's holding one of the rarest Lincoln cents ever produced. A coin most people would have spent without a second thought. A penny worth potentially hundreds of thousands of dollars down. Let me ask you, how many pennies have you ignored? How many might have slipped through your hands unnoticed? Act 2. Revelation. Fast forward to today, and the 1992D close M penny has become legendary. In 2017, one sold for over $25,000. In recent years, premium examples graded in mint state condition have skyrocketed in value, now reportedly reaching as high as $919,000 in the private collector market. Why? Because rarity drives value, but story multiplies it. Every great collectible, every coin, every vintage car has a story that resonates emotionally. The 1992D Closam is more than a minting error. It's a tangible reminder that opportunity hides in the smallest details. It whispers a message. Pay attention. Because what most people overlook can hold extraordinary value. The truth is, this penny shouldn't exist. The design used for proof coins, those specially struck for collectors, somehow slipped into the production dies for regular Denver minted coins. The result? A few escaped into circulation before anyone noticed. And those few are now the crown jewels of Lincoln Cent collecting. Humor break. Think about that for a second, people. Spend hours buying lottery tickets, when the real jackpot might be jingling around in the cup holder of your car. Collectors and experts have spent decades chasing this variety, and yet new discoveries are still being made. That's the thrilling part. Somewhere out there, maybe sitting in a box of old change, maybe tucked in a drawer, there could be another one waiting for someone like you to notice. But here's the twist. The value of these coins isn't static. The market for rare pennies is heating up, driven by social media exposure, coin flipping videos, and a growing fascination with tangible assets in uncertain times. As investors and hobbyists pour money into collectibles, prices are soaring, and with inflation making everyday dollars worth less. Rare coins, especially those with compelling backstories, are becoming the ultimate hedge. They combine nostalgia, artistry, and scarcity. Three forces that fuel emotional and financial value. You might be thinking, okay, but what makes this particular penny worth nearly $1 million? It's just copper, right? In the world of numismatics, condition is king. The cleaner the surface, the sharper the strike, the fewer the scratches, the higher the grade. And when you combine pristine condition with a coin that's nearly impossible to find, you get exponential value. The top-graded specimens of the 1992D close AM have crossed the auction block for life-changing sums. One example, in near-perfect condition, stunned the market, driving prices upward and capturing headlines. Private sales have since whispered of offers exceeding $900,000. And here's the kicker: some of those coins were found not by professional dealers, but by everyday people. Someone sorting through a jar. Someone cleaning out an attic. Someone who simply looked a little closer. Now pause for a second. Imagine holding a single penny that could wipe out your mortgage, fund your retirement, or send your kids to college. What would that feel like? Excitement, shock, maybe even disbelief. That emotional spark, the thrill of discovery, is what drives this entire market. Because this story isn't really about a coin. It's about awareness. About how easily we overlook the extraordinary hiding in plain sight. When you start seeing value where others don't, everything changes. You stop walking past opportunities. You start looking with intention. Whether it's a coin, an idea, or a momentary, things reveal themselves only to those who are paying attention. So, how do you find one of these elusive 1992D close M pennies yourself? Start simple. Gather your old penny sets, especially those from 1992. Flip them over. And look closely at the AM in America. If the letters are spaced apart, that's the common wide M. But if they're nearly touching, you could be holding something extraordinary. Next, check for the mint mark. You want the small d under the date signifying it was struck at the Denver Mint. Then, inspect the coin's condition. If it's in great shape, it's worth having it authenticated by a professional grading service like PCG's or NGC. That's the golden ticket to confirming its true value. Don't rush to clean it. Cleaning can actually reduce its worth. Handle it gently by the edges and store it safely. Now, here's where the urgency comes in. Because as awareness grows, more people are searching, and fewer undiscovered examples remain. The window of opportunity to find one in the wild is shrinking fast. Think about this. Every year, millions of coins are melted down, recycled, or simply lost. Every time that happens, one more chance disappears forever. That's the fear factor that drives collectors. The knowledge that time, literally, is eating away at the remaining supply. But the excitement, the adrenaline rush of the hunt keeps people going. You might not strike gold today, but you'll never know unless you look. Here's a quick pattern interrupted. You know the average American has around $68 in loose change lying around their home. That's enough to fill a small treasure chest of potential discoveries. So before you dismiss your coin jar as clutter, remember, it might just be your hidden fortune as we near the end. Let's circle back to the bigger picture. We live in a world obsessed with digital assets, cryptocurrency, NFTs, and algorithmic investments. But real, tangible history still holds immense power. A single rare coin can connect you to a moment in time, a story, a legacy. And that emotional connection is something no algorithm can replicate. The 1992D close am penny isn't just rare, it's symbolic. It represents the power of awareness, the value of patience, and the thrill of possibility. It reminds us that wealth isn't always about what's new. Sometimes it's hiding in what's old. So, what should you do next? First, check your change. Search those penny jars, those coin rolls, those drawers. Every search you make puts you one step closer to discovery. Second, educate yourself. Learn about mint marks, varieties, and grading. The more you know, the sharper your eye becomes, the more opportunities you'll recognize. And finally, share this knowledge, because you never know who in your circle might be sitting on a fortune without realizing it. Let's end with a little thought experiment. Imagine you find it the elusive 1992D close am penny. You send it off for grading. Weeks later, the envelope returns. You open it slowly, heart pounding, and see the words, authentic, mint state. In that instant, your life changes. A penny that once sat unnoticed becomes your passport to freedom. That's not just a dream, it's happened before. And it can happen again. The question is, will you be the next one to find it? Because somewhere out there, right now, another 1992D close AM is waiting. Hidden in a coin roll, lying in a forgotten jar, resting in someone's pocket. And when it surfaces, it'll make headlines again. So don't wait. Start your search today. Because in the world of rare coins, fortune doesn't just favor the bold, it favors the observant. Your journey to wealth might begin with something as small as a penny. But as the 1992D close AM proves, sometimes the smallest things hold the biggest rewards. You might be thinking, come on, a penny worth nearly $1 million. That sounds impossible. But stay with me, because by the end of this video, you'll know exactly why this little copper coin is shaking the coin collecting world and how you can find out. If you're sitting on a fortune without even knowing it, the year was 2001. The economy was shifting. The world was changing, and the U.S. Mint was producing billions of pennies as it had done for decades. Most were perfectly ordinary, tiny copper-plated zinc discs carrying Abraham Lincoln's familiar face. But among these billions, a handful slipped through that were anything but ordinary. They had no mint mark, no D for Denver, no S for San Francisco. Just a clean blank space beneath the date. At first, no one noticed. After all, most people don't look closely at pennies. They're the coins that pile up in car queue folders and cookie tins, forgotten and unappreciated. But for the sharp-eyed few, those who truly knew what to look for, this tiny detail meant everything. Because the absence of that mint mark wasn't just a minor mistake. It was a key to one of the most valuable modern errors in U.S. coinage. But what makes this specific penny so rare and valuable? To understand that, we need to peek behind the curtain into how coins are made and what happens when something goes wrong, when a mint mark is missing. It's not supposed to be. Every penny struck at the Denver Mint should have a D. Every one from San Francisco an S. If a coin is missing it, that means something went awry. Perhaps a die was replaced or misused before being properly stamped with the mint mark. And in the world of numismatics, minting errors like these can be worth their weight in gold. Literally, now here's where things get really interesting. For years, collectors debated whether the 2001 no mint mark penny was even real. Some dismissed it as a myth. Others said it was just a worn coin. But as more examples surfaced, authenticated by top-grading companies, it became undeniable. These were genuine, unmarked Lincoln cents, and in pristine condition, they started fetching astronomical prices. Once word got out, the hunt began. Collectors, investors, and everyday people turned their pockets inside out. Stories began to spread. A retired man in Ohio who found one while sorting through his old coin jar. A teenager in Florida who discovered one in a roll of pennies from the bank. Each discovery set off a new wave of excitement and disbelief. And here's the twist. Not all these coins are created equal. Condition, grade, and luster make all the difference. A scratched, dull penny might bring a few $100s, but a flawless, mint-state specimen, one gleaming with untouched brilliance, can soar into the hundreds of thousands. The current market peak, $911,000. For a single cent. Let that sink in for a moment. 1 cent, worth $911,000. That's a return of over 91 million%. Try getting that from the stock market now. Before you start rummaging through your drawers, Let's pause for a second. Ask yourself, when was the last time you really looked at your pennies? The truth is, most of us handle coins every day without ever thinking twice about them. Yet hidden in plain sight could be the key to a new chapter in your financial story. But here's the fear factor. Every year, thousands of rare coins are accidentally spent, dropped, or lost forever because people simply don't know what they're holding. Someone, somewhere, might have used one of these 2001 no-mint-mark pennies to buy a cup of coffee. Imagine that, turning away $1 million coin for a latte. And that's why awareness matters. Because, for those who take the time to learn, the rewards can be life-changing. Let's transition to something even deeper: value beyond money. This isn't just about coins. It's about opportunity. It's about paying attention to what most people ignore. The same principle applies in life and wealth. The biggest rewards often hide in plain sight, disguised as something ordinary. The 2001 no-mint-mark penny is proof that the extraordinary can emerge from the overlooked dot. But how do you know if you have one? This is where the excitement builds. You'll want to start by checking any 2001 penny that has no visible mint mark under the date. Use a magnifying glass, good lighting, and compare it with others. The genuine no-mint mark variety will look sharp, well-defined, and perfectly struck. If it looks suspiciously ordinary, don't dismiss it. That's how all great discoveries begin. If you think you've found one, don't rush to sell. First, get it authenticated by a professional grading service like PCG's or NGC. These organizations will verify its legitimacy and assign it a grade, a crucial step before any sale. The higher the grade, the higher the potential value. A Mint State MS68 or MS69 can easily skyrocket past the six-figure mark. And here's something most people overlook: timing. The coin market, just like real estate or stocks, moves in cycles. Right now, rare modern errors like this one are in high demand. The recent record-breaking auction of $911,000 set off a frenzy among investors looking for the next big coin. That means right now could be the perfect time to act. Let's inject a little humor here to reset your attention somewhere out there. A coin collector's spouse is probably rolling their eyes, thinking, "He's staring at pennies again." But that's the irony. The very coin they're laughing about could pay for the dream house, the sports car, or the early retirement. And that brings us to Act 3, the transformation. Finding a valuable coin isn't just about money. It's about the mindset of discovery, patience, and possibility. It's about realizing that wealth often comes not from chasing trends, but from seeing what others miss. The 2001 no-mint-mark penny is a symbol of that, an everyday object turned into a millionaire's treasure because someone cared enough to look closer. Imagine the moment you're sitting at your kitchen table, flipping through your coin collection. Your hands tremble slightly as you notice it. A 2001 penny with no mint mark. You double-check, triple-check, and your heart starts to race. Could this really be it? After all these years, you send it off for grading, waiting weeks with nervous anticipation. And then the email arrives. The verdict: authentic. High grade, estimated market value, hundreds of thousands of dollars. That's the kind of life-changing story that fuels the passion of collectors everywhere. Ordinary people who stumbled upon something extraordinary and saw their lives transform overnight. But here's the cliffhanger, experts believe. There are still a handful of these pennies circulating in the wild, unaccounted for. Maybe in a jar, a coin roll, or tucked away in an old wallet. The question is, will one of them find its way to you? Before we wrap up, let's talk about what this really represents. We live in a world where everyone's chasing the next big thing: crypto, stocks, real estate. But sometimes the greatest treasures come from the smallest places. A penny that teaches us to look closer, to appreciate the hidden value in the everyday. And there's urgency here too, because as more of these coins are found, authenticated, and sold, the window of opportunity narrows. The fewer remain, the more valuable they become. If you've been sitting on that coin jar for years, now's the time to act. Pull it out, sort through it, and pay attention. That simple act of curiosity could be the most profitable 10 minutes of your life. Now, before you go, here's something to think about. What other overlooked opportunities might be right in front of you? What other pennies have you dismissed in your own life? Things that, seen through a different lens, could be worth far more than you ever imagined. That's the real message of the 2001 no-mint-mark Lincoln penny. It's not just a coin, it's a reminder that wealth begins with awareness. The next great discovery might already be in your hands. So, here's your call to action. After this video, grab your jar of spare change. Look at every 2001 penny carefully. No mint mark. Congratulations, you might be holding a piece of American history worth hundreds of thousands, even millions. And if you do find one, remember this moment, the moment you chose to look closer. Because sometimes, the road to wealth doesn't start with a bold investment or a lucky break. It starts with a single penny and a pair of curious eyes. Now imagine telling your friends that the coin they tossed aside just paid for your dream home. Wouldn't that be poetic justice? So keep searching, keep learning, and keep believing that hidden value exists, even in the smallest of places. Because as the 2001 no-mint-mark penny proves, the smallest discoveries can bring the biggest rewards. And who knows, maybe the next millionaire collector is watching this right now.